Assignment number 2, Gender Wage Gap by Jojo Pacha, October 15, 2017. Sociology 1306. Background. The gender wage gap is the disparity between women's and men's earnings. It is an important sociological topic because it boils down to something much more than money. It is how women and men are perceived and treated. It is about the equality of America. Since 1963, when the Equal Pay Act was signed, the closing of the wage gap between men and women has been at a rate of about half a penny per year. I chose this topic to analyze because it should not be a problem, and because it is important. It's a problem that can affect me and my future children, and I chose the city of Cheyenne in Wyoming because it is where the wage gap is the largest between women and men in the United States. Fact number 1. The white woman makes only 79 cents the white man's dollar, while Native American women make 65 cents, Black women 64 cents, and Hispanic women 54 cents. Fact number 2. Women earn less than men in about 5 occupations: wholesale and retail buyers, police and sheriff patrol offices, bookkeeping, accounting, and data entry keyers. Fact number 3. The gender wage gap in the United States will not close until 2059. The wage gap is projected to close first in Florida, with women achieving pay partially with men in 2038. Fact number 4. Women earn more college degrees, but there is still a wage gap. Fact number 5. Wyoming has one of the biggest wage gaps in America, but the wage gap goes beyond American borders. Sociological analysis. When it comes to my solutions for the gender wage gap, my ideals align fairly well with the conflict and liberal approach. My approach of eliminating this social problem corresponds with the idea of comparable worth. Comparable worth is the belief that wages ought to reflect the worth of a job, not the gender or race of the worker. Basically, comparable worth corresponds with equal pay for equal work. The pay should not vary according to race or gender. If one person has one position and the another person has the exact same position, they should be paid the same, period. My solution is not to make comparable worth a model standard, it is to make it a law. The reason for the wage gap is gender inequality, which comes from males needing to maintain power and control it within society, which is conflict's perspective. Basically, social life is a continuous struggle in which members of powerful groups, males in this case, seek to maintain control of scarce resources such as social, economic, and political superiority. Liberal feminist perspective also aligns with mine in the belief that inequality is rooted in gender role socialization. The idea that we have a wage gap because of the inequality between men and women, and the inequality between men and women comes from how society portrays men and women, how they portray women as not being able to do the same things as men are able to do. Previous research. From reading the news articles and scholarly journals, I learned about the wage gap in many different areas of the world. I learned it's not just an American problem. I was also informed that things were being done to close this wage gap, but the bill was put aside so other things could be handled. One scholarly article highlighted the fact that the wage gap is not made up. So, one scholarly article monitored 10 of the highest paying jobs and 10 of the lowest paying jobs, and it was found that in both of those, or all 20 of those jobs, women were paid less. So the counter argument of you're not looking at the right jobs, or it's just because they have different occupations, is moot. Women are paid less in the workforce, regardless of which job it is. Majority of the time, women are earning less than men. The article also highlighted the importance of equal pay for women. So it highlighted the fact that women aren't asking for these extra 30 cents or so out of greed to fill their pockets. They need it. Some women are the backbone of their families. Some women are single mothers. Most women are raising children, feeding babies. They will use this 30 cents for something good. Even if they weren't, equality in the workforce is a civil right. The wage gap seems to be closing, but at an incredibly slower rate, as mentioned before, half a penny per year. Projections of equal pay for men and women are as far as 2059. So I could start my career after getting a degree and plan to retire within 3 years or so and still not have equal pay as my male counterparts. Solutions. 1, to heavily protest and make our displeasure known. I feel like you don't know how to fix a problem unless you know there is a problem. So speaking up about it and being vocal about it will help this movement go along faster. Talking about it a lot more than we are would help this problem disappear faster. Number 2, legislation that enforces one set pay depending on one's position in the workplace. So as said before, legal and required comparable worth. Comparable worth that is required. That if two people hold the same position, do the exact same thing, they must be paid the exact same amount. Number 3, holding businesses and companies accountable by checking on their progress and their personal wage gap. I feel as though if we hold companies accountable and check on how they are doing their best to eliminate this wage gap, they will do better. When they have to write down their statistics and standings and present it to a government, they are going to try and look their best, therefore quickly eliminating the wage gap. Former approaches have been tailored to giving women a voice to speak up if they feel there's discrimination, and other strategies protect women fighting for equal pay. This is why I feel mine is unique. It doesn't help women try and eliminate the problem, it eliminates the problem for them. So instead of trying to give women leeway to speak about getting equal pay, I want to pass legislation that gets that equal pay. So very few legislation is passed that directly affects a person's paycheck, whereas my solutions are head-on approach to a problem, hitting it right where we should. Government intervention. How can local agencies help reduce their social problem? By abiding by the no discrimination laws and paying their employees equal pay for equal work. How can state agencies help reduce this problem? By checking on their businesses to make sure that they're abiding by the laws and being equal in the work area. How can federal agencies help reduce this problem? By passing legislation that requires these state and local agencies to pay people equally. SWOT. So this is the SWOT for the solution of holding businesses accountable for their wage gap. The strength of this is that every company is forced to try their best to produce promising numbers on wage gap reduction, when we can clearly see which companies or businesses are discriminating against women or doing nothing. Weaknesses is resistance on the part of the companies. They might not want to participate in such a thing because then they'd have to be paying women more. And another weakness is that it's slightly intrusive. This, I think, is a minor thing that people can get over. They document a whole lot more. Having to document your wage gap is just going to be a little extra to tack on. Threats to this would be Donald Trump and his administration. Because a law like this was being reviewed and considered while Obama was in office, and then Trump has recently taken office and stopped that bill. And I understand there are many other things to consider and to tend to, but with a problem so painfully obvious as equal pay, I think it could have been done very quickly. Cultivate the bill, put it into Congress, have it voted on, pass it. Because it's not something that needs question. There should be no question about equal pay. Everybody deserves equal pay. It's something that could have been done with very quickly. Opportunities that this solution provides, it gives us an opportunity to see where the problem is and to be able to fix it. Legal action towards the closing of the wage gap opens up more legal doors for better approaches. Concluding remarks. If we come together as Americans and focus on fixing this injustice, then it will be fixed. Something with such a short and simple answer should not take as long as it is taking to be fixed. We need to lead the way in gender equality in the workplace so that other countries might see us and follow our path. So other countries might see us and know that we are a nation so united that we don't divide our men and our women because both of them are capable of great things and both of them are treated that way. We need to be an example for the other countries who have the wage gap. As I said, it's not just an American problem, it's an everyone problem. So we need to try and close our gap so that we may prompt other nations to close theirs and have an equal world all around. It's my works cited page. Thank you for listening.